Hey YouTube, JW. Got another edition of Retro Knives for you guys here today. And we're going to be looking at throwing stars, throwing knives, shurikens, whatever you want to call it. Throwing spikes. They are classic retro knives, really, that you throw, multi-pointed. Obviously made famous by the ninja and maybe by my generation from the movies of that era, 70s and 80s. And the popularity of these for sale back in the day, you know. I had quite a few of them back in the day, and really the only one that I have left from back then is this little guy, which I bought in a little martial arts shop in Hot Springs, Arkansas, probably in the early 90s. It's a little novelty dude. The coolest one I'm going to start with first, and that is my Parker Star, which looks like a triple bladed thrower. But then it turns into 6. Pretty awesome. There's a spring-loaded mechanism there. You press that down. Just that quick. It can spin back. These are very rare. Interesting story about this. The guy listed it on eBay. I ran up the bid to about 60 bucks. eBay pulled the listing. I contacted the guy, and he lived up in a suburb of Chicago. Didn't know what he had. He had it on Craigslist for, I think, $100. He ended up selling it to Arizona Custom Knives, and I bought it from them. So I know it was given to the guy in Chicago by a friend years earlier, and he just had it all those years. So I kind of know the backstory and the history of this. I don't have the sheath. There was a sheath with this, a 3-pointed sheath, and this one unfortunately does not have it. But they're very rare. It's Japanese surgical stainless steel, classic early 80s Parker. And that kind of sets the trend for what you see in these, the same as what you saw in knives. The early ones, like the Parker, were made in Japan, like this old guy here, and this is what you typically would see on the back of ninja magazines. The early ones were Japan, and they were the best ones. And then as you progressed a little bit later on, you got into, let's see, Taiwan, like this boy, which is really more or less just a novelty decoration piece. I mean, you could sharpen these spikes, but it's not for real. This one actually could be used, and that's the same as like this. And these are like the ones that I had. I had a few of these, and let's see, this one. Yeah, these are all Taiwans. And then you know, you get into your modern day, like this one, which is a classic design. But you know, now they're made in China. So you went from Japan, which was good, the best, to Taiwan made, and to Chinese, which is what you have today, which actually this is a pretty good one. And then I've got a cold steel Sure Strike here, the heavy guy. Very heavy, and these are actually functional weapons. I mean, I actually prefer the medium. I think the medium is probably the best. They have a small, medium, and a large. Has a little bit different design to it. But I mean, I've been throwing shurikens and throwing stars since I was a kid. I'm actually not bad with them. As far as a real weapon, actually the ninja use these as a distraction, or a lot of times as an impact weapon, or very short range throwing weapon. It wasn't where you in the movies where they throw it and it sticks in the guy's head. It really is just kind of like the guns in the movies that have 1,000,000 bullets. It looks good. But this is a functional throwing star. I can throw this thing and it will, I'd say 80% of the time, stick. And as you can see, it's been used. At my other house, I had a stump that I used to throw these at. I had a video years ago, I think I took it down, of me throwing, hitting bottles and stuff with these. But I kind of am like to collect the ninja culture of the 1980s, late 70s, 80s stuff. I liked it when I was a kid, and I kind of just collect that pop culture type of, centered around 1985 approximately, time of when it was just in the mainstream. But this is definitely the cool one. People really like this. These are very rare. I've only seen a handful of them. And I was lucky enough to pick this one up. I'm a big Parker collector, you know that. Parker had some really interesting, cool designs. That's for sure. And if you ever run across one of these, and it's any kind of decent price, I would recommend picking it up. So, this video is not for everybody, and it's not retro knife like a buck 110 or something, but to me, this definitely has to fit in the classic retro knife, slash weapon. It fits in nicely with something you would have seen at a flea market, or something you would have picked up that thought was cool. When you're starting out, when knife collecting is new, and it's just, you think it's the coolest thing in the world. And knives still do that for me to this day. And that's why I am a knife collector. And I like to track down obscure, vintage weapons, knives. So I appreciate you guys watching this another edition of Retro Knives, and stay tuned for another one to be coming at you. I got a few more lined up here, so thanks for watching.